Vivian Brown.
And I'm Keith Carson. You probably haven't even dug out from Hercules yet, but guess what? We have another storm waiting in the wings. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
But first, let's get the very latest, of course, on Hercules. Here is the latest.
Yeah, well, you know, the good news is Hercules is getting on out of here. This is a very long radar loop, so what you're showing is it pounding the Cape and the shore last night. But there it is, spinning on out, Maine being one of the last areas to see the snow into down East Maine, and just the stream Cape Cod out to Provincetown. And affected about 80 million people is what we ended up with this storm, some of the biggest snowfall totals in and around the Boston metro area, particularly to the north of the city. Now what we have left is just one really remaining winter storm warning there, but the rest are being dropped, another still down across down East Maine, but quickly moving on out.
Well, speaking of the heavy snow totals, Hercules dumped some 6 to 10 inches of snow across the great state of New Jersey. Here in Hoboken, snowplow drivers are trying to clear away 10 inches of the white stuff. Fortunately, today is a snow day, of course, for many folks in the city. All Hoboken public schools are closed as well.
Used to love those snow days. All right, here's the very latest. Hercules is being blamed, unfortunately, for at least 4 deaths. The storm is also tying travel in knots, with airlines canceling 1,600 flights nationwide today, and that is on top of the 2,300 that were scrubbed yesterday. Schools are closed, as we mentioned, across the region from New York City up into Boston.
Okay, let's toss to the man who knows it all about snow and the cold, our own storm specialist. Of course, that is Tom Nizzo.
Yeah, and I'll tell you guys, pulse after pulse of Arctic air coming down from northern Canada across the United States, and that's adding to these winter storms. Take a look right now. Here's the center of, this is the webcam that we're seeing now from Boston. You can see the skyline very nicely there. Visibilities are picking up. Probably a milk glass type of sun out there now as it's trying to peek through, and the storm system loosens its grip and heads out to sea. So Hercules is weakening even as we speak. We take a look on our radar, or on our analysis here, and this analysis that we're showing here, there's a surface low pressure system. I think we'll bring that up in just a minute here. Well, I'll talk over it then. We have a surface low pressure system, and that is Hercules. That's off the Atlantic right here, and a lot of cold air in its wake being brought down out of Canada. Look at these wind chills here. 27 below in Burlington, 37 below in Caribou, Maine. Just Arctic air across this region right now, and that's going to continue throughout the rest of the day and into tomorrow. As we saw already, Hercules really loosening its grip. This is what's left of any snow, and pretty much it's just about all over now, guys. So all we're going to contend with here over the next several hours are going to be the winds gusting over 40 miles an hour out on the Cape here. Boston was still at 26 miles an hour, and with a little light snow in Boston, still 2.5 mile visibility. Nantucket right out on the Cape, where we're getting a little bit of ocean enhancement here, still down to a 1/4 mile in that snow. But as we look for the rest of the day here, this system moves off very, very quickly. There it goes out to the east here, and in its wake, all we have are some lake effect snow streamers. These are ocean effect because they're occurring over the warm waters of the Atlantic. And this system again moves right off. Tonight, you're not going to have any worries as far as any snowfall across the region. All we're going to be dealing with is cold temperatures. And so as you see here, by 9 p.m. we're down to 4 degrees. Overnight below zero, 6 a.m. 3 below zero under mainly clear skies. So you now get to deal with the chill, Boston. You're probably going to warm up to 40 to 50 degrees as we get into the Sunday to Monday time frame, and then with another Arctic front coming through Monday night, back down into that chilly temperature. Keith, we'll send it back over to you.
All right, thanks, Tom, for that update. Well, Hercules was, in truth, a moderate storm for New York City. Central Park officially picked up 6 inches of snow. But as NBC's Craig Melvin tells us, a bitter cold is now what has New Yorkers' attention.
Hello from Mineola on Long Island, where it has been nonstop. The snow has been blowing, the winds whipping since yesterday afternoon. People are asking, can we get a break from this weather yet? As far as the bad weather goes, the trains, though, are still running. Not exactly on time, but they are running. Here's a shot of the tracks here, and you can see that they are a little bit snow covered. There are actually special trains known as anti-freeze trains. They coat the tracks with a special de-icer to keep the ice from building. Also, the people who have been here, the workers for the Railroad Authority, it has been incredible. You see them down there with their orange jackets. They've been here probably before we got here, and we arrived here to this train station about 3 o'clock this morning. Workers have been trying to clear the platforms for the safety of commuters, but it is so difficult to keep up with the snowfall when it has been nonstop since yesterday afternoon. Long Island is expected to get around 10 inches of snow. Any more snowfall than that, the Railroad Authority would temporarily suspend train service, but for now the trains are running, not exactly on time, anywhere from 2 to 25 minutes late, but commuters are telling us, hey, that's not too bad. That's the very latest from Mineola on Long Island. I'm Catherine Craig for the Weather Channel. Back to you.
All right, that was actually Catherine Craig reporting for us. Now let's talk more about that bitter cold and send it over to Vivian.
Yeah, talk about the cold air. I mean, it's one thing to get the heavy snow, but then when you're left with the extreme cold behind, and believe it or not, another dose of cold air is expected that'll be even colder than this one, if that's even possible. 13 degrees right now in the New York City area. You can see a few brave folks still out enjoying the ice skating rink. Hercules, Arctic cold for New York. Let's check on the morning lows that we had even this morning. Then we dropped down to single digits in Boston and New York with that fresh powder. But check it out, 10 degrees below zero in Minneapolis and 5 below in the Fargo area. We have knocked off some of the cold a little bit at this hour, as currently we're checking in with 9 degrees in the Boston area, 14 in New York, and 16 in Philadelphia. But you can see the sharp dive in the jet stream that we're watching today. And then actually it's going to continue to allow that cold air to stay in place, and then we'll find just another shot coming in by the beginning of next week. So very cold this morning, and tomorrow morning much of the same. Keith?
All right, Vivian, thanks. As Winter Storm Hercules makes its exit off the northeast coast, it's leaving a big mess behind for travelers. We'll get you up to date on road conditions and your airport delays. Plus, the next big storm is already taking shape. More on the record low temperatures and an Arctic blast moving on in.